Hello there, I'm Traplaw Ross, and you might know me from here. This channel is pretty much literally the only place you would know me from, if that. Today, my channel sits around 450,000 subscribers, and I'm grateful for every single one of you that's watched, subscribed, liked, commented, and smashed that notification bell. Or in some cases, followed me on Instagram and sent me pictures of your turtle. It really is a cute turtle. Now, another thing that I'm very grateful for is the fact that my newfound internet fame has given me the opportunity to speak about how I got here. Earlier this year, I was very appreciative of Adam22 inviting me to be interviewed on his infamous No Jumper podcast. An interview where Adam22 very kindly dubbed me the biggest hip-hop YouTuber in the UK. God, that gets me gassed up, makes me feel like 6ix9ine. I'm the fucking king of Bognor Regis. I'm the king of hip-hop YouTube in the UK. And during that interview, I got to speak about a few things that I wouldn't normally mention as part of a hip-hop story. Things like my very first attempts to be a rapper before I'd even turned 10 years old.
So basically, like me and my little gang in third grade, we were like, we're gonna start a rap crew. So we started a group called the Toxic Crew. There was like five or six of us.
I remember you saying something about the Toxic Crew. Yeah.
I reference it every now and then, but I put the whole track up. So we made a track called Ghosts and Ghouls, and we were like, we're going to shut down the Halloween disco.
Ross 94, deep in the disco ball. Toxic Crew's records are bad and ready to fall. Keep the roof jumping at your disco at school.
Or the obscure British hip-hop that I grew up and listened to that made me fall in love with the genre in my own unique way.
Like Rodney P and Jest, stuff like that, like Mark B and Blade. Anyone that even knows any of these names is probably thinking it's lit right now.
And of course, my epically bad attempts to finesse my way into the rap game by originally making low-budget music videos for up-and-coming rappers.
Off the back of that, I actually wanted to get into like video production, so I started making videos for rappers. It was kind of more like, if I can't rap, I'm gonna shoot videos for rappers.
Yeah.
And I basically just like was shooting music videos for like local acts, like just rappers from my area or like rappers that I knew and that.
But there's always been one aspect of my career that I've kind of wanted to keep secret and sweep under the rug. And that's my excruciatingly bad attempts at being a YouTuber shortly after giving up on my real dream of being a rapper. Long before committing to making documentaries about the genre of music that I love and blowing up.
And I just started making like shitty YouTube content, and I was doing like reaction videos and like sketches and shit.
I can guarantee that you haven't seen any of those videos, because for the last 3 years, like the secret porno room in the back of your local Blockbuster, I've kept those videos locked away in the private section of my YouTube channel where nobody can ever see them. But today, I've decided to open up the vault and take a retrospective look at some of those awful videos that made me who I am today. The reason I'm doing this is hopefully to inspire you. I mean, there's countless rappers on Instagram showing off their wealth and claiming to be doing so for motivational purposes only. Well, I'm not quite as balling as these rappers, but I stayed determined, made hundreds of very shit videos, and slowly got better, keeping what worked, getting rid of what didn't, and ultimately winding up being a full-time YouTuber. And along with that, building up the most awesome fan base in the game along the way. So without further ado, as much as it really pains me to say it, let's take a look back at some of my shitty rap videos.
Nice to meet you, my name is not the name given to me by my father, written in black ink for the marker. Right in the box provided. Please don't think outside it. The following essay will outline intricate aspects about my life. Key themes I'll discuss, ex-girlfriends and their mistrust, piles of work and not much fun, and how it goes down when we all get drunk.
This was the very first music video I ever made for myself. I thought it was pretty good, and it really took a lot to put myself out there like this at this point in my life. I'm around 22 years old here. I'm 27 now, but even at the time, 22 seemed way too old to be a rapper. Honestly, looking back, I don't even know what possessed me to even try and do this. The only explanation that I can give is that I genuinely wanted to rap, and I genuinely wanted to be a rapper. I always remember growing up, whenever anybody asked me what I wanted to do when I was older, the first thought that would pop into my head was always rapper, usually followed by the thought that a nerdy white kid from Bognor Regis will never be a rapper, so to save myself the embarrassment, I would always say filmmaker instead. But for some reason, even at 22, after having all of my dreams pounded out of me by real life, I guess I still just wanted to play the rapper. I'm not sure whether I even believed this would go anywhere at the time, but that experience of making the song, organising the shoot, and being the star of the video for that day was so fulfilling I didn't want to stop. So I kept on going, making music and throwing money at the videos to try and get my dream of being a rapper off the ground, regardless of the fact that literally nobody was watching.
Well, every year in March, the Chancellor emerges from number 11 Downing Street, holding a bright red suitcase and shows it off for all to see, before heading to the House of Commons to deliver the annual budget statement. So what can we expect this year?
Let's go for a tour in a glamour. Let's go for the pond where we walk with a swagger. Okay. Best friends from a West End get caught up in South, can't help but talk with a stammer. Living costs high every day in this peak. It's closing late and there's nothing to eat. Behind on my reading list for the week. Nights out, no sleep, got me grinding my teeth. Got that season pass on my oyster cart. Yep, south side of that river. More drug dealers than dominoes to bring food like 4-course in. These other lads sharing their remarks. On nights out, I find myself just staring at my cards. My copy of the game must have lost itself a page. When I'm asking for a name and she just turns and looks away. When I turned 18, ordered some fruit juice, didn't taste like it used to. Used to watch Happy Slaps on my phone, now it's Smack Cam all on YouTube. In the hedges outside the off-licence, waiting while they buy me Bensons. Nowadays I can buy 5 litres of Glens without my ID getting mentioned. Rooftop bars with the theme and a view and pretentious drinks. That's right. But I miss how my bags would clink on the way to the local bench and swings. Old school. Laying on the grass at the park, dreams of one day sitting in bars. Now I stare at a Weatherspoon's glass, thinking back then we were having it large. PE kit left at home, so I got plimsolls on my feet. And I said I would not repeat, but now I'm trying on Vans on Oxford Street. All black, phone speaker back of the bus, and I got 2 songs for the ride. Now when I ride on my 159, at least 2 films on my iPhone 5. You spent with the people you hate, waiting to shake the dead weight. Nicotine headaches, staying awake till past 8, and fighting your mates at wet break. Wet dream, wet pets on the cheek. Nappy nights for under 16s. In the queue then, man, I thought it was peak. Now I'm in a club wishing that kid was me. Remember me when it's 2053. Remember where we've seen. Remember where we've been. Pretend I've got a time machine and then get in it with me. Will you remember what we've seen? Remember where we've been? Cause when I'm looking back, I'll say that those were the days. Those were the days. Those were the days. Back then didn't appreciate that. Those were the days. Those were the days. Those were the days.
Oh, sorry, that one hits me in the feels. This really was the height of my rapping career, and thanks to this particular music video getting some love in a Hypebeast Facebook forum. At the time, I racked up a couple of thousand views. But unfortunately, after this music video, I had a pretty shitty experience trying to film the next one that put me off rapping and making rap videos for good. Since that previous video had got a lot of love in a Hypebeast Facebook forum, I had an idea of doing a whole streetwear-inspired music video for a song that I'd written all about girls flaking out on you. And so I hired a couple of people to come and help me out for the day. The plan was to run around London filming in various cutesy looking locations and take that footage and edit it as if each of those scenarios was me in a profile picture on Tinder. Now this song was called 99 Flake and it was all about girls flaking out on dates. But in one of the most ironic and cosmic fuck yous from the universe in history, the model I had hired to be my on-screen girlfriend, in a music video about girls who flake out on you, flaked out and stood me up on the very day we were shooting. I mean listen, I have a hard enough time with girls anyway looking like this, but imagine a woman that you hired with cash money that you've actually paid to turn up and be in a music video with you for the day, still flakes out.
99 times you told 99 lies. You had 99 reasons that you couldn't come by. Invite you round mine, you've got 99 lies. It's the 99 flakeries, 99 flakeries.
I've got to say, that hit me as one of the biggest L's I could have possibly imagined. This shit put me in a real low place. The makeup artist who I'd hired for the day, who was kind of a friend of mine, took a little bit of pity on me and even offered to step in to play the woman that hadn't turned up. This was on the condition that I would allow her to wear a mask, as she was of course too embarrassed to even be associated with this giant mess of a video. You can tell she didn't want to be associated with me by her extremely disinterested demeanor in the video. Anyway, I really wanted to soldier through this shoot, as even after all of the fuckery, I felt like it was a genuinely good idea and a good song. But then, for the Streetwear Kids, I tried to film a segment of me rapping the song outside the Palace store in Soho in London, from the complete other side of the street mind you, at which point the crackhead security guard that works at Palace came out screaming and threatened to beat me up in front of my whole crew. And well, that kind of ruined my day. So at that point I said, fuck Palace and everyone that works there, they can still eat a fat dick to this day, and fuck relying on other people to make your art. And so that was the day I decided to stop rapping and try something different. After my very discouraging efforts to make it in the rap game fell apart, around a year went by, and during that time I got obsessed with the YouTube channel H3 Productions, particularly their reaction content skewering other YouTubers and popular media. But regardless, after being so inspired by H3's content, I decided to get my H3 on. Now this all happened around November, which in the UK is a traditional time that big supermarkets create huge budget Christmas ads that everyone in the country can't stop talking about. And I thought, hey, maybe I could have a good niche on YouTube doing H3 style roasts on all of the lame Christmas ads that the big supermarkets had put out that year.
So today we're going to be doing a little reaction video to the John Lewis Christmas advert, and Dad's just outside building himself a little child dungeon. What you don't know actually is that actor lost his thumb that day, massive insurance payout, so he's having a wonderful Christmas. No thumb though. We have the beautiful extra accessory, the Plum Space Zone Little Johnny's Gone Missing tarpaulin. Absolutely, for those times when things get a little bit too rough and you need to pretend like you didn't have kids in the first place.
Now I actually did a series of these reaction videos that are so cringy and devoid of any actual humour that I can't even bring myself to react to them. But one thing is for sure, it didn't grow my channel. No one liked those videos, no one watched those videos. But once again, much like when I was rapping, I had that same feeling that I was doing something I enjoyed and getting closer to whatever that artistic dream I had deep down inside of me really was. But things clearly weren't working. So once again, feeling dejected, this time by the YouTube algorithm instead of actual people, I decided to take a wider look at the YouTube landscape for more inspiration of the kinds of content I could make. And at this point, I started reviewing food. But of course, being the broke-ass South London boy that I was at the time, I didn't really have the peas or the confidence to go out around the city reviewing restaurants. Now, some of you might remember that in 2015, a charismatic and deceptively young-looking local scamp was blowing up in London doing food reviews under the name Chicken Connoisseur.
Whoop, whoop. All of that was £2.49. But yes. Mad. What are your thoughts and feelings on the wings?
This factor.
Were you enjoying? Enjoyment levels?
I was enjoying the wings. The wings.
So around the same time I was looking for a new format for my YouTube channel, Chicken Connoisseur was blowing up. And I thought the best thing that my broke, no view having ass could do was completely bite his strategy. Hence this abomination.
The big lasagna. So we've got the Asda Smart Price lasagna, and that is up against Tesco's Everyday Value lasagna. This packaging that's not quite big enough. So I don't know if that's to emphasise how much disgusting lasagna that you're getting for your money. This one was £1.50, right? So the Tesco Value lasagna, that came in at 95 pence, which is fucking steal. And that was only 70p. We don't know how shit it's going to be yet, okay? I'm going to get to cooking these beasts up, and then we'll get to a little taste test.
It's looking a bit pale and chunky at the moment. It's looking a bit dutty, so let's see how this develops.
We've got the Aldi Special, the Tesco Value, which is looking a little worse for wear there. The Asda, which actually looks a lot better now it's cooked. So this is the Asda, the Tesco, appetizing, and that is the Lidl. That's how you do a lasagna. There's plenty of beef in there, like I swear that you can see how much beef there is on top, and it's not a myth, it's like straight up, there is actually enough beef here to feel satisfied. It's like when rappers put like, you know, Kanye West featuring Kid Cudi, but all you get is the like you just get him humming in the background. That's not a feature, right? Everyday Value lasagna featuring beef, okay? This is beef. Whereas like this is like a genuine collaboration. This is like Jay-Z and Kanye Watch the Throne, like verse for verse. Beef lasagna, beef lasagna. This is on point.
See, it's funny looking back at this. I couldn't tell at the time, but now with hindsight, you can see that my fascination in hip-hop can't even help but shine through in my casual, off-the-cuff comments. Yet for some reason, at no point did I ever even consider at this time talking about hip-hop or hip-hop music as part of my channel. And rather than realizing that the key to success would be talking passionately about the music I love, I just continued toiling away on bad formats that I had seen on other channels. But hey, at least I had a good time.
Welcome back to Shit Food Connoisseur. I'm here with my boy Freddie. What's up? We're going to be reviewing these delicious dishes. The cheapest one was the Everyday Value chicken curry. The Asda was the most expensive. Hunter's, this is the oldie. This is the oldie special.
It's a fucking curry, mate.
Whatever, it's fine.
Eat it or fucking chuck in a fucking bin. It's a curry. This, fucking hot curry, mate. Bit tasty, bit ropey. Can you handle the heat?
This is a progression of what the food looks like when it goes through the human centipede. And by the time it's turned into this, there's no flavour left, it's just mainly liquid.
That's why I don't want any end guys.
Alright, well, signing off, they're all shit.
Stay away from tin curry.
Thanks for joining us, Shit Food Connoisseurs. Curry light.
Over and out.
Bye!
Okay, bye.
Bye!
Now, in spite of all of this terrible content, complete abject failure, and frankly just looking like a little fucking dingus, this time of my YouTube career wasn't entirely filled with L's. Because one night in 2017, I was up late watching TV and I stumbled upon something amazing. British national treasure, actor, and person most likely to do you over the canister with a cricket bat, Danny Dyer, appeared on a famous British TV series called Who Do You Think You Are?, where they take a celebrity and trace back the lineage of their ancestors to see if they are related to anyone special. Now, I probably could have told you that Danny Dyer is related to someone a bit special without even watching the show. But anyway, I watched that hilarious show that evening, at which point I felt like I had stumbled upon a comedic goldmine. And again, for some reason, I just had this urge to slap together a little reaction video on the same evening that that show had aired live, all in the hopes that YouTube's magical algorithm might reward me with a few pennies or views. And lo and behold, for once, something actually worked.
This is Albert Square, this is Walford, this is Mile Manor, this is where I work every single day, and I love it.
You may recognise him from the absolute classic titan of British cinema, Run for Your Wife, which took in a staggering £700 in its box office debut. This is the man, the myth, the legend, Sir Daniel Dyer of East London. I've always followed Danny Dyer's absolutely illustrious career from Football Factory. And I'm kind of taking the piss, but I actually do genuinely rate Danny Dyer. I think he does his thing, he doesn't give a shit, he is what he is.
They're going to expect me to be related to criminals. Maybe I'm related to a few criminals.
He already knows he's related to criminals. He's probably got loads of criminals in his family. Like, he's saying that just to, like, prime us for the non-surprise of just, like, people probably think I'm going to be related to a few criminals. Yeah, I probably will be related to a few criminals, to be honest. So let's just, you know.
Auntie Sylvie is your oldest living relative.
So that signed picture of Danny in the background is. I wonder what he's written on that. That's a very strange picture to have given a signed copy to your family. That. What sort of secrets are they hiding? This criminal family, a couple of criminals in the family.
The geezer's got a drawbridge. Hell.
I rate that. Geezer's got fucking drawbridge. Fair play. That's not an overreaction, mate. I wish I had a fucking drawbridge.
Our mutual ancestor.
I'm just gonna, I'm gonna put the lips on her, Tim. I'm gonna put the lips on.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the lips on her because she's my family.
And this is his heraldry as the Earl of Essex.
So in a way, I'm sort of the Earl of Essex.
Even in his voice, you can tell he doesn't believe it. Just in a way, I'm sort of the Earl of Essex.
Yep.
Yeah. Sure, yeah, Danny, yeah, sure, yeah.
I think it's going to change me as a human being. Not in a bad way,
Yeah.
but in a way of thinking.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but just in a way of thinking that I'm fucking better than all these other fucking mugs in Essex, you know what I mean? Not in a bad way.
Danny has discovered that his 14 times great-grandfather, Gregory Cromwell, was married to Elizabeth, the sister of Queen Jane Seymour, Henry VIII's third and favourite wife.
It's mad, really, to find out that I'm related to Henry VIII, because I love to blaze a little Henry. And even this video, in true trap law fashion, wasn't short of obscure hip-hop references either.
Professor Green. Good name, cool name that.
Pro Green.
Pro Green.
Pro Green. Anyway, moving on. Pro Green's let himself go, hasn't he? Fucking hell, that divorce has been nasty on him. Look at it. Now, this video was a surprise success, racking up over 60,000 views organically, netting me a cool 17 new subscribers, 28 negative comments, and generating a whopping £24.12 in ad revenue. Some delicious passive income that I would enjoy all the way until the start of 2018 when the adpocalypse saw me demonetized again. But now, with my little taste of YouTube clout and success, all at the expense of Sir Daniel of Dyerington, I decided to double down on the only thing that had ever worked for me in my entire career up until this point, and pretty much turn my entire channel overnight into Danny Dyer Lord Ross. Naturally, this had disappointing results as far as views were concerned, but going back and watching this video, it at least reminds me that this was around the time when I first got my head around joke writing.
So Danny is basically taking a break from the soap world, okay? And I know what that's like. I took a long break from the soap world a few years ago when I went to Leeds Festival. Danny Dyer has kind of had this breakdown. He's the big star of his own show. He's pulling in a lot of cash, and he's just had a meltdown and flown off to Africa. But not to fear, EastEnders bosses say that he will be replaced for the next 3 episodes by Charlie Murphy and Donnell Rollins. Danny had allegedly kicked the drink at the start of this year, but actually what it turns out is he just kicked the lock off of the drinks cabinet and gone absolutely wild. And honestly, people are saying that Danny's health is a serious concern, and if he doesn't stop drinking like this, he's going to end up on casualty.
Now, you may have noticed from that last video that your boy's roasting abilities were on fleek. In fact, that also has something to do with the fact that around 2017, I also decided to take up stand-up comedy. Unfortunately for you, a few very rare artifacts still exist, documenting me performing in sad, small, lonely London open mic comedy venues.
I studied business management, and what that essentially means is I haven't managed to find a job, and that's none of your fucking business, mum.
Stand-up is hard, alright? It's hard. It's fucking hard. But to be fair, I stuck at it for a whole year, getting my confidence up and eventually even being able to land a fair few half-decent jokes.
Been going to the gym every single day. I don't work out, I just go to see if anyone's left any food in the lockers. But I recently upgraded to a really personal trainer. Yeah. I basically do reps and he just tells me I'm weak because my parents never loved me. I originally joined the gym so that I could feel a hit of adrenaline and feel the blood rushing through my veins. And I actually realised recently I can just get the same effect by lightly slashing my wrists. Save myself 20 quid a month there. But if you want to have the kind of arms of the kind of dickhead that goes to the gym every single day with just one piece of effort, you can have it in 2 words: tribal tattoos. Thank you.
Now, my stand-up career didn't actually go anywhere, and I'd often find myself performing to a room of 5 people, 3 of whom I'd brought myself. But more important than packing out gigs was building up that confidence and stage presence that would become infinitely useful when I eventually decided to tuck my tail in between my legs, quit comedy and go back to YouTube. It's alright, it's fine, it's alright. Ultimately at this point I decided stand-up wasn't for me, mostly because the London stand-up comedy circuit is full of wankers, not all of them, but most of them. And trying to socialise in that scene basically plays out as a pantomime rendition of Mean Girls played by nothing but balding divorcees. Terrible scene. Sorry if you're part of the London open mic comedy scene, but you know I'm right. But in the end, I took everything I'd learned from the stand-up comedy circuit about joke writing, performance, and stage presence back to YouTube with a newfound confidence and had another crack. And trying to keep the laughter alive, pushing on by making comedy sketches with friends of mine that were still comedians or filmmakers. And I made sketches about a lot of different things. But for a period, the bulk of them were inspired by the fuck shit that I was witnessing on a daily basis working in the London startup scene. Not dissimilar to the London open mic comedy circuit, but with a lot less laughs. So to poke fun of all of the startup idiots that we were being exposed to, I would rope in my startup friends and my comedy friends to make sketches skewering the people that we were spending all of our time with.
If I've learned one thing about the startup lifestyle, it's that you've got to be lean. Okay? You've got to be lean and you've got to live the lean lifestyle. Being lean is about getting the most out of everything. Most other people that run businesses, they sit around worrying all day. Not me. Okay? I've outsourced all of my worries to India. So anytime I feel a little bit of worry or self-doubt about my business, I just jump on the computer to Vishnu and I let him do the worrying for me at $3 an hour. You've got to make sure that you have money coming in. And you know what that means? No, not sales, investment.
Some funding, guys. You can fund my business. Do you have £10 million, sir?
Shiver me timbers, mate. I think we've done it. I think we've discovered a cure for cancer.
Lads, let's stop messing about. Something serious.
Facebook for cats?
Just think about it.
Entrepreneurship. The clue is in the name. It's all about being in control of your ship as students.
All right, Professor. That's all well and good, okay? You're a good professor. I'm going to let you finish, but I just want to let everyone in this class know, okay? Facebook for cats is the greatest startup idea of all time, okay? All time. Facebook for cats.
Now, naturally, these startup parody videos eventually descended into nothing more than me doing a bitter and rabid Gary Vee impression. It's fine. Just fucking hustle through it, bro. It's a hustle. Sometimes you walk into walls. People say that CEOs work too hard. I think they don't work hard enough. Tim Cook gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning and is answering emails by 4:30. What a pussy. I'm up at 3 o'clock on the treadmill, on the phone, waking up my customers. Guys, when it comes to Instagram marketing, you got to slide in those DMs, okay? Everything nowadays is going down in the DMs. If you don't know what I mean, let me give you a rundown. It's going down in those DMs. My doctor told me that my lack of sleep has led to some severe seizures, but you know what I call those? Success naps. Now, once again, in spite of the complete lack of interest in any of the content I was producing over this period, not only did I continue to make these videos, but I decided to make that classic rookie error of throwing good money after bad, deciding to bankroll a much higher production 10-minute mockumentary version of this dumb startup life character that I had invented.
Do I look good? Do I look like a startup founder? How's that? It's my apprentice. He thinks I look great. This guy knows. That's the six-figure startup pose. This is my crowdfunding pose. Let me hit you with the buy my info product pose. This is my Facebook ads pose. The download my free PDF pose. My startup smoldering on a budget, but still smoldering nonetheless. So I moved here from a small town up to London to make my fortune, you know, make my billions in the tech industry, become the next Mark Zuckerberg. And, you know I'm going to be rich, but I don't think the money's going to change me, you know. I'm still going to be the same narcissistic, insecure guy, only I'll have the money to actually ruin your life. Amazing place you got here, man.
It's great, isn't it?
Incredible, yeah. What's that?
That is beer on tap, absolutely free.
What?
Everything is free.
That's amazing. No, I'm good. I brought my own.
Okay, let's go and have this meeting.
Since I'm so amazing at pitching, I might as well give you my top 3 pitching tips. Number 1, you've got to go in there and you've got to be confident. You've got to show them that you're hungry for success. You've got to show them that you're thirsty for that investment.
Okay, listen now.
A lot of time, money and effort went into that project, and I was very proud of what I produced. Even to this day, it's better than a lot of the stuff that I'm producing now. But ultimately, it was another waste of time. And we're up to 2018 at this point. When I released that 10-minute startup life short, my channel had been around nearly 3 years and I had barely cracked 100 subscribers. I was working hard and getting nowhere fast, and at this point I was willing to try anything to try and get this thing off the ground. You might remember when those fake Spider-Man and Elsa kids comedy videos were blowing up on YouTube. I even started another comedy sketch series depicting Spider-Man trying to make it as a startup founder.
Get out, you're fired.
So one day I just got fired from my job. That really forced me to change the way I think about life. I just didn't know where to start. I was kind of spinning circles around myself and all I wanted to be doing is spinning webs. Scaling is hard. I mean, there's different types of scale you can do. You can climb a building, it's quite nice. You get that, you know, the wind in your face. If you shoot a web and you just swing across to another one, go a bit higher, it's such a nice adrenaline building feeling. I used to just climb up a wall, knock on a window, say, hey, do you want some crime fighting services? But, you know, that's not as effective as email marketing. You know, I used to really struggle with nutrition. I'd have to, you know, hunt my own food, try and catch some flies. It wasn't the best thing in the world. Now I have my own sushi chef. People ask me why I do what I do. It's not just scaling a business, it's not just scaling a building, it's not just marketing, it's not the excitement of having people watch your videos and them hits coming in, it's not the conversion rates, it's making Uncle Ben proud.
Hell, when that didn't work, your boy got topical. Rest in peace Chadwick Boseman, because who can forget the time when Black Panther was dominating at the cinema? Well, when that was all going on and all anybody could talk about was Black Panther, me and my old comedy buddy Satonye Ogan thought we would have a pop at blowing up with YouTube sketch comedy by making spoofs of famous films at the time.
This is my life. This is my story. Will I get better? One day, I hope, to return to Wakanda. To fight.
He went from the throne of Wakanda to a park bench in Brixton. I'm here to find out the true story of King T'Challa, formerly known as the Black Panther. You've chosen not to speak publicly about what happened with the finances of Wakanda.
I saw Bitcoin, I saw cryptocurrency, and I just thought it had a wonderful name. We were talking about this currency that you don't have to hold. Paperless currency. I thought, wow, what a fantastic invention. Apparently it was invented by a Japanese guy. Wakanda has a great relationship with the Japanese, so I thought, why not invest my whole country, including vibranium and the people? And I invested everything, my soul, my mother, my father. And it crashed. I lost everything. I lost my country, I lost my Wakanda, I lost the grass, I lost the people. Most of them became Nigerians, our biggest enemies. So, to this day, I still have shares in Bitcoin. I refuse to let go. I hope that it will rise, just like we did for our independence.
So you've got a lot of literature and books.
Yes.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about what inspires you?
What inspires a king? You know, well...
40-year-old virgin now?
Oh yes, 40-year-old virgin. That was my ambition. Rush Hour 3. I watched this so many times before meeting with the Chinese. I thought it would be a good way of getting to know them better. King T'Challa looks up to Stalin, the way he just purged those who were against him. Killed. He killed people properly. I killed them metaphorically.
Metaphorically?
Yes, I killed people. Metaphorically.
Right. Real talk, before we go any further, I just want to say Satonye is one of the best actor, performer, writer, comedians that I have ever had the honor of working with. He's a legend, and working with him taught me so much. I do not think I would be where I am today without his help. So enormous salute to him. Even though they didn't actually lead anywhere on YouTube, those collaborations that I made with Satonye were some of the funniest things that I think I've ever made, even to this day. But you can only go nowhere for so long, so understandably, Satonye moved on and I had to move on too. And at least for a period, I continued to try and make topical content, but time and time again, no matter how much effort I put into my videos, no one would ever watch them, YouTube would never promote them, and I was ready to give up.
I'm reporting live from Old Street, or as some of the residents have been calling it recently, Cold Street. I actually came up with that one myself.
What?
I'd describe it as cold as balls, would you agree?
Cold as what?
Cold as balls.
Yeah.
Balls are cold, right?
It's spring right now. We're supposed to have snow and... No, we're supposed to have sun, but we have snow.
Something's fishy's going on, right? Surely?
There's no fishy. You know what's going on, innit?
I don't know, man. Tell me.
You know what's going on, innit?
I feel like I know what's going on.
You know what's going on.
At the end of 2018, I was ready to give up on YouTube. It felt completely pointless. In fact, it felt more than pointless. It felt like a scam. Like I was being taken for a ride by a dream that just wasn't possible. As if all the real successful big YouTubers were in on some big secret, getting all their channels off the ground like magic. Yet through 3 years of genuine effort, I had gotten literally nowhere. For all of my efforts, over 100 videos made that were pretty high quality. At that point in the lifetime of my channel, I had scored just over 100k views, the majority of which were Danny Dyer content. I was at 219 subscribers and I had made a grand total of £28.50. That's not even enough to buy a 6'9" Punani polo shirt. So ultimately at this point, I decided once and for all to give up. I stopped making videos completely in September of 2018, with my final upload at the time being a normie tube video trying to give university students just starting their term out advice, which is so cringe I couldn't even watch it to react to. But that wasn't the end of the story, because in December of 2018, something strange happened. Once again, I don't know what came over me, but at the time, I had gotten really into the UK drill scene, and I felt that there was just nobody on YouTube taking a light-hearted look at this space. And I suppose that does make sense. I mean, it's a genre that is literally all about stabbing your rivals. But anyway, I had just fallen in love with drill music at this point. The beats, the tempo, the energy, it was just so exciting to see hip-hop developing in a way that it hadn't in the UK for years. And I just had this enormous urge to try and make a drill song. I knew how to rap, I loved rapping, I missed rapping. And I just wanted to see what it would be like to rhyme over those beats that you now know famously from the likes of Pop Smoke, Fabio Foreign, and even occasionally Drake. I just wanted to have a go. I don't have any ops, so I couldn't really talk about stabbing my ops, but I just wanted to have a go on one of those beats. And I'll be honest, even at that point in my life, all those years had passed, I still found myself, when people would ask me what it is you want to do, immediately thinking rapper, then immediately shutting down those thoughts as if they were so unrealistic unrealistic. I'd be stupid to even aspire to it, usually ending up with me muttering under my breath that I wanted to be some sort of startup wanker. But those beats and bars were running through my veins, baby. So I decided for some reason, in December of 2018, to make a drill Christmas song, taking on the role of Drill Santa, calling out all of his ops on a track called Christmas Drillings.
Yeah. S-Claus, Big Santa, North Pole Gang. You know what I'm talking about. Shout my elves. Fuck the South Pole. Fuck the ops. Shout out Miss Claus. You get me? December all year. 'Tis the season to be drilly. You get me? Big Santa. Yo, listen. S-Claus, yeah, I came from the north with a pole. You don't wanna see me lurk round south with a shank and a sock full of coal. Yeah, I move packs for the dough. You can't say Santa ain't on road. Slide down that old boy's chimney, slap that corn and then reload. Look, I don't mean decorations when I say that I light up trees. South Pole Valley on me, mistletoe, I got galley on me.
Now, to my surprise, this video actually did kinda good. I mean, good in comparison to what I'd seen up until this point. People I hadn't heard from in ages were reaching out to say that they had seen it and thought it was funny. Unilad put it on their Instagram without crediting me, wankers, and I couldn't really see it at the time, but now looking back, I think it was my passion and genuine obsession with this genre of music, combined with my slightly strange personality and previous extensive experience making comedy, that ultimately all added together and created a very unique piece of content that I don't think anyone else would have ever made. I love drill and I love comedy, and I just felt like what I was trying to do with this song was the ultimate crossover on a Venn diagram that shouldn't have ever existed. And it was this experience that kind of reignited my interest in making YouTube videos, which pushed me to make a video discussing the hottest commodity in drill at the time, the British rapper Russ. Now, the video wasn't really that much of an in-depth look at the music. I was actually more just kind of roasting the rental company that he had used for the cars in his video. First found out about My Whip after seeing the music video for Russ's new song Gun Lead, and that song's an absolute banger, by the way, so you want to go and check that out. But the music video is basically ruined by a 30-second product placement at the start of the video advertising this new taxi service, My Whip, and Russ basically pulls up in a McLaren and lies about it being his, saying, yo, that's my whip. No, that's my whip.
What is that rental? Is that your whip? What is it? My whip. What's that? Yeah, my whip. My whip.
Okay. It's actually an Uber-style service that lets you hail McLarens and Ferraris that are gold-wrapped as if they were Ubers. After finding my way to their own YouTube channel and website, it was an absolute goldmine of douche-baggery and start-up fuckery. And so that video didn't really do anything after it was uploaded, and I was kind of back at square one. But the passion was back, and it was late that New Year's of 2018 going into 2019 that I was hanging out with my buddy Ordinary Things. He'd recently wrapped up a different YouTube channel because he wasn't really passionate about the stuff he was talking about. And that evening we had a long talk about where our passions lied, and he told me that if I was truly passionate about hip-hop, I should just talk about that on YouTube and nothing else. To which I replied to him the words that I will never forget: no one wants to hear a British white dork from Bognor Regis talking about hip-hop. Oh, how wrong I was. The first week of 2019, I set out to create my first trap law video, the story of why Jay-Z shot his brother at 12. Why did I choose that story? Well, it was literally the first thing that came to my head when he asked me what interesting hip-hop story I might be able to tell on YouTube. I was so interested in hip-hop law, I could have recounted that whole story from memory. So within a few days, I'd put that video together, filmed it, cut it, and put it out. I reposted it to our hip-hop heads on Reddit, so I appreciate them, and slowly over the course of that first day of uploading, it clocked up a few thousand views. Today, that video sits at over 1.5 million views, and it's one of the stories I'm the most proud of. At the time, I was honestly baffled. I couldn't understand why this video was resonating with people so much when all of the other content I had done before, that was frankly much higher quality, had completely flopped. But if I've learned one thing about life, it's that in order to progress, you got to cut off what doesn't work and double down on what does. So I did. From that point, I got my head down and just cranked out video after video, covering the hip-hop topics, stories, and artists that I truly love. 5 videos after that, I released my video on how Frank Ocean finessed Def Jam for $10 million. That video ended up getting 20k views within 2 days of going live. Within 10 days of being released, that video had racked up 781,000 views, brought in 5,300 new subscribers, and thanks to the influx of new people watching my old catalogue of videos, I was finally able to get remonetized on YouTube and actually earn money from the hard work that I'd been doing all these years. I couldn't believe it. I'd gone within the space of 2 months from completely giving up on YouTube to having thousands of fans who genuinely loved my videos and shared my passion for hip-hop, consuming my content, feeling like my words resonated with them and reaching out to show their support. Since then, a lot of things have happened. There's been some huge ups, some crushing lows, messages from people that I have looked up to for years, threats from people I have never even heard of, and opportunities that I thought a person like me would never have access to. So I'm telling you this story today not to brag or boast or flex. I'm proud of these achievements, but I also think it's an important lesson for other people. I never gave up, and looking back at just how badly my channel was going in the worst of times, it's honestly completely understandable why I would have given up much sooner. But ultimately it wasn't about trying to come up with the best video idea to try and blow up. It was about going through the motions, learning, and understanding myself better as a creator. I had to take that time to get in touch with what I was truly passionate about, putting everything that I had learned and loved into my content, and after literally years of blood, sweat, and tears, it finally paid off. Since then, a lot of people have tried to copy what I do, some with no success at all, others with huge success. But that doesn't faze me, because I've never been somebody trying to be something they're not, hijacking a culture that I'm not really invested in, or just trying to finesse rap history for money. By being myself and being honest, I realized the fact that the thing I truly have loved the most in my life is hip hop. And when I realized that and put my true, genuine personality in my videos, that's when the magic started to happen. Often imitated but never duplicated, your boy Trap Law ain't going nowhere, baby. Just like Tim Westwood, I'm still gonna be here as long as I can type. So if you got something that you're working on and it isn't working out, just hang in there and remember the most important thing is to follow your heart and your passions. And eventually, I promise, the magic will happen. Thanks for listening.